What is the motive behind Nancy Guntrie's disappearance? This is the question a lot of America is trying to figure out right now. Is it a ransom for money? Is it a personal vendetta, homicide, or the big M? Or is it just a random burglary gone wrong? Well, Kash Patel just came out with some evidence from a Nest camera. I'm going to break down what I'm seeing. I have a psychology degree from Penn State, a bachelor's. It's not a master's, but I got the secret scientific formula right here. I'm going to break down a couple things I'm seeing here in regard to the gender of the individual, the backpack, the gloves, interacting with the Ring camera. There's a lot of clues we can get out of these screenshots slash surveillance from Kash Patel. We're going to dive into Savannah Guthrie's recent video on Instagram. It's a little bit different than the previous ones. Here. It's very different, actually. The context, the theme of it, what she's asking for, who she's speaking to, I think is probably the biggest detail. We're also going to look at Dr. Todd Grande's 3 theories that he put up. This was a week ago. So before all this evidence came out, the surveillance cameras, the ransom notes, the videos from Savannah and her family. We're going to look at his 3 theories, and then we're going to look into my theory, why I believe that my opinion is the strongest right now. Obviously, it can be completely off base. This is just, speculation based on the facts I'm seeing. But I truly believe that I'm at least in the ballpark of what actually happened to Nancy Guntrie, unfortunately. And then we're going to look at another case of an elderly woman gone missing / killed. Again, all very unfortunate. This is not a happy video to go over with you guys, but it's very interesting, and I have a lot of thoughts on it. So let's dive right into it. Grab a drink. Everybody's going to need a little bit. This is very, very sad. All right, so this just came out. They finally recovered the images from the Nest camera outside of Nancy Guntrie's residence. We have yet to see this. This has been going for 10 days. I'm going to tell you guys what I'm seeing and why I'm starting to think about the motive the way I'm thinking about it, okay? First video right here. When the perpetrator, yes, I'm saying perpetrator, suspect. I don't care that Kash Patel is not calling him a suspect. When you show up at an 84-year-old woman's house, armed with a gun, in full ski mask materials, with gloves, covering the Nest camera, and she goes missing with blood, we can probably assume that it's a motherfucking suspect. Okay, let's take a look at this. So this is in the middle of the night. Let me make sure everything's working. It is. This is in the middle of the night. You can see the Nest camera right here. They redacted the time and date, so the fake ransom letters stop coming in. They don't want to give out any information that they don't have to. This individual, some people are speculating a woman. I believe it's a male. Walks up, head down. Now, this could be he's trying to avoid windows up top. If Nancy's still awake, she sees movement. I do not believe this individual was aware that there's a Nest camera here. I think they walk up, they see the camera, and then they try to figure out what to do. I don't think they scoped this out or, was doing surveillance on the residence and pinpointing how to get in. They walk right up to the front door where we saw the blood droplets from Brian Eaton Investigates. Go check out his channel. I do not believe they scoped out this property. Let's look. So there's a light. There's a flashlight. Obviously, if you're going into someone's house at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., it's dark, you're going to need a fucking flashlight. He has a flashlight in his mouth or on his head, one of the two. Head down. As soon as he crosses this, he puts the head up. Boop. Walking real slow, head down. Probably thinking, let's avoid the windows. Next video. This is right after the one we just watched. Okay, so we see a pistol right here. Obviously right-handed. It's a right-handed pistol. Full ski mask. You can't see any hair. You can't see any skin. We can see the stature, the weight, obviously not a fat lard. And then does not look right at the Nest camera. Looks at the front door. Watch. Was about to like knock or something. Look, if you're aware there's a Nest camera there, right? And you're thinking in your head, okay, what's my plan? I'm gonna roll up, head down, I'm gonna cover this Nest camera. You would probably bring a sock, a paper bag, rubber bands, something to immediately cover it up, right? No, this person doesn't do that. They walk right to the front door. They're staring straight ahead. Look at the gaze. Straight ahead. Hand on the gun. Then, looks like they're about to either ring the doorbell or knock. Look, see? That was to go right here. That wasn't toward the camera at first. Looks like they're about to knock. Then he sees the camera. Oh, shit. Okay. Wow, this kind of caught me off guard. Look at that. Look at that. Look at those eyebrows. Now, Lauren on Hidden True Crime theorized that these look like women's eyebrows because the mask was cutting off half of the eyebrows. They're not groomed eyebrows. The mask is cutting off half the eyebrows. Well, in this shot, you could see some fucking skin there, can't you? I see skin there. So this is either probably a trans person, maybe a homosexual person, or maybe a female, potentially. Or just somebody who likes to have steady upkeep with their eyebrows. Because you could see skin there. I don't believe Lauren Matthias saw that. Because that is not cutting off the eyebrows, in my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, this individual sees the camera. Tries to cover it up. Let's see if I can get full screen here. Tries to cover it up. Doesn't really know what to do. So they didn't just go in with a plan like, I'm going to put my sock on it, or I'm going to punch it. I'm going to bring a big rock and just fucking break it. Like we're hearing all the reports. They smashed all the cameras. No, I don't think so. I think they walked up to knock on the door right there. Spotted the camera right there. And then he's trying to figure out what the fuck he's going to do. So he like puts his hand on it. Left hand here. He's looking over. Again, see those eyebrows? Look at those eyebrows. That actually, I don't know. That is kind of giving me women vibes. I was thinking man, but now that I'm looking at this more, that kind of looks, to me, I could be completely wrong, like a woman. But again, could be completely wrong. Anyway, right hand down here, or left hand down here, not really sure what to do. Trying to grab, pull. Look, obviously grabbing the bottom, covering the top, move their head out of the thing. And still covering it, turns away. They're like, okay, I wasn't prepared for this. What? I don't have a rag. I don't have anything ready. So they're looking around now. Okay, how do I address this? I don't want them to see what I do. I don't want to see, look, they're like looking around. Oh, I see a little plant. I see a little plant here. Little fuck boy. They pull the plant out of the ground and they try to use that to cover up the camera. They weren't prepared for the Nest cam. Then we go here. This is when he has the plant in his hand, or she, potentially. They're trying to cover it. They're trying to bend it, put it over the top. Look, flashlight in the mouth. Right there, you might be able to see a little bit of a mustache. Potentially. Still see those, like, clean eyebrows, man. My eyebrows are pretty good for a guy, I feel like. What do you guys think? My sister tells me I got good eyebrows. Never plucked them a day in my fucking life. They're not as thin as those. So this is either somebody who really likes their appearance, maybe a model, or I don't fucking know, a woman, potentially, with that going on. So anyway, back to the video. They're trying to cover up the camera with a plant. You're telling me this was planned? They scoped this out. They knew it was there. They had a whole plan. We're going to knock out the fucking cameras and steal them. No. They had no fucking clue. They didn't case this out beforehand. They didn't. One other thing that was very curious to me. Here's a couple more photos here. Kash Patel put out. You can see the stature. Doesn't look too tall. Doesn't look too short. I don't know. This big head, the head shape, the jaw, that's kind of telling me male. I'm thinking it's a pretty, like a well put together guy. But again, I don't know. Look at those eyes. Nose isn't really too big. Yeah, I honestly don't know. Anyway, another clue that I wanted to bring to you guys' attention is the backpack. The backpack. So let's go through these theories. Well, first, let me show you the backpack. Obviously wearing gloves. Doesn't want DNA, fingerprints, anything like that. They came prepared. This wasn't a, act of love or violence of passion, crime of passion, whatever you want to say. This was a planned event, and they picked out the date. They picked out the time. The backpack intrigues me. The backpack intrigues me. So right here, they're a little lost on their plan. Look at this backpack. That's full. That's a full backpack. That's not deflated. You could see a little indent right here of something, maybe of rope, potentially. That's full. This pocket has stuff in it. It's jutted out. This is full to the brim, like there's 6 textbooks or school binders in it. We've all seen a backpack filled to the brim. Look at the bottom. That's filled. If you're going in to rob somebody, burglarize a home, you're probably going to go in with an empty backpack, correct? You want to load it up with jewelry, cash, iPads, phones, mementos, valuables, necklaces, technology, whatever you can find and fit in your backpack. So I'm not thinking burglary is the motivation here. What is in this backpack? Even if you're trying to, let's say, commit a homicide, right? You're an individual who is so upset with Nancy Guntrie that you want to go, commit homicide on them in the middle of the night. What would be the purpose of loading up your backpack? Right? Wouldn't you probably just show up as slick as possible, in and out, maybe go through a window, maybe go through the back, and just have as less possible shit on you as possible to make less noise, to not be noticed. With a gun, you go in, you shoot them, you leave. Kind of like the Tepe murders. That's exactly what he did. Went in with a gun, a jacket, no backpack. He was there for homicide only. That tells me a few things. There was a plan here. There's either restraints in here. There's either, BDSM items, bondage items, blankets. There's a lot of shit in there. There's not just a rope and, maybe cleaning supplies, but there's some stuff in there. There's some stuff in there. So I'm thinking this could be a fetish situation. Sorry. I didn't put it back on the screen. Look. See? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's filled to the brim. You can see there's something in there, like a rope, a crowbar, something. It could potentially be a fetish situation. If you look at this, there was something that happened here in April 2025. 84-year-old woman, her handyman broke into her room in the middle of the night. She woke up. He, R-worded her, took advantage of her, and then committed homicide. She was 82. Nancy Guntrie is 84. She wasn't missing, but they found her in horrible condition. He was charged with that, this, and that. But if you look down here, meticulous planned out burglary and sexual assault of a woman who was referred to as his customer. No sexual assault, but yes, this was all figured out by the FBI. This was a sexually motivated crime. This individual wanted to physically get with this older woman. A lot of people have, sexual attractions to younger people, other genders, vulnerable people, people that are asleep. There's so many different pedophilias out there. They like people that are asleep. They like people that are mentally ill. They like people that are mentally not all there. They like people that are younger. There's a lot of weird things going on out there. This is kind of what I'm thinking here. This could be somebody that has absolutely no idea that this is Savannah Guntrie's mother. They might have fucked up and kidnapped/assaulted a famous person's mom without even knowing it. They didn't even research the house enough to know there was a Nest camera here. Do you think they did enough research to look into this woman's background, to see who her family is, to see who she is? Actually, no. People that are this cold-blooded, this heartless, and this sick in the head don't research that type of thing. I don't believe this individual had any clue that Nancy Guntrie was the mother of a popular, famous TV anchor in Savannah, Guthrie. And this all kind of supports the videos we're seeing on Savannah Guntrie's Instagram channel. Now, we've heard about ransom notes, and they're willing to pay. There's 3 videos here. We're willing to pay. Talk to us. We want to hear you and know that she's okay. Give us a sign of life. We have money. We'll send you the Bitcoin. This has only progressed to the point where that is not even a factor anymore in this recent... Here, you can't even see it right there. This recent selfie video of Savannah Guntrie. She does not talk to the perpetrator. She does not mention paying anything. She does not mention bring her back. She's talking to the public. She's asking for tips. She's asking for help. And she's asking for any possibility of bringing her mother back. That is a stark difference to the other videos where they're directly talking to a potential ransom kidnapper. We will pay. We're here to listen. We'll do whatever it takes. Let us know our mother's still out there. That's out the window. This video doesn't address any ransom, any kidnapper, or any payment. It's talking to the public. Watch it yourself.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love.
Thank you, everybody. She's talking to us, the public, her audience.
That we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers, and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. I
mean, this is sad, man. If this doesn't give you chills, make you furious at this perpetrator, give you tears, this is a sad, sad story, man. It just is.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. They're not saying, we're ready to pay. Give us a sign of life. They're not talking to any kidnapper, ransom, blackmailer. That's out the window. That's no more. So if it's not a blackmailer looking for money, if it's not, Nancy walked away because her cognitive ability is declining, If it's not, she left to get a new life. There's blood on the motherfucking porch with the flowers that the perp tried to cover up the Nest camera with. There's the options of motive are dwindling fast.
Trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything.
Little sign of contempt right there. I can't rewind it, but yeah. She's tried this fake smile. That's just, the emotions are overwhelming for her right now. She can't even properly get across the emotion she wants to portray in this video. It's too overwhelming. The sadness, the grief, the anger. It's too hard to cover those up.
If you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help. Hi there, everybody.
She almost just full-blown goes into tears here.
I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts.
Quiver in the lip.
As we enter into another week.
Yeah, it's just something she doesn't want to be doing. It's horrible, awful. And, you know, Dr. Grande, his theories were that she either walked off, she started a new life, or she was kidnapped. Now that we have new information about the perpetrator, let's see how kind of his theories kind of align with what we know now. This was a week ago he put this video out.
This happened in an upscale neighborhood to a victim who had no known enemies. Nancy was not involved in any dramatic or contentious situations. This is incredibly unusual. Elderly women are almost never the targets of kidnapping. Sometimes a perpetrator will kill an elderly woman in a house during a burglary gone bad. But abduction is just about unheard of in these circumstances. As far as the theories about what happened to Nancy, there are.
I don't believe abduction was the original plan. I don't think it was that well planned out, to be honest. I don't think abduction was the original plan.
Are essentially three. Nancy was kidnapped, as the police strongly suspect. Nancy wandered away from her house, despite her mobility issues. Or Nancy disappeared of her own volition, perhaps to start a new life. With this in mind, let's take a look at the evidence, both her high level of mental alertness. No unusual behavior was detected by her daughter the night before.
This was before the visual, before the surveillance. Obviously, she didn't run away. Obviously, she didn't start a new life. I'm going to fast forward to his kidnap theory. But originally, a week ago, these were the theories.
Issues, which would greatly limit her ability to be left behind. Have to kidnap Nancy Guthrie house. This almost never happens. Factors contradicting this theory include the statistical rarity of a woman in her 80s being kidnapped from her house. This almost never happens. Driveway, Nancy's mobility issues, which would greatly limit her ability to wander off, and Nancy's phone, Apple Watch, wallet, and motor vehicle being left behind. Factors contradicting this theory include the statistical rarity of a woman in her 80s being kidnapped from her house. This almost never happens. What possible motive would a perpetrator have to kidnap Nancy Guthrie? It is true that her daughter is famous. However, Savannah Guthrie is not really controversial.
I don't believe the perpetrator had any clue Savannah Guthrie was her daughter.
The Today Show is designed to be bland and inoffensive.
Again, this is all, I'm speculating here. I could be completely incorrect. This is my gut. So don't, jump all over me if I'm wrong here. This is just with the facts we know, the information I'm seeing, this is what I believe. You could support me, you could agree with me, you could disagree. I would love to hear the disagreements, but this is what I'm seeing.
It is the television equivalent of a hotel lobby. The police have not mentioned any type of ransom demand, and even said they do not suspect that ransom is the motive. Theory number 2 is that Nancy wandered away from her house. As far as the factors supporting this theory, when a person over the age of 80 goes missing, the reason is almost always a medical crisis, cognitive impairment, or an accident. Nancy had mobility issues. However, she was living independently in a 3,100 square foot house. It's difficult to believe that expensive homes is extremely unlikely. Leaving to start a new life is a low price to start fresh. Nancy lived in the same house for over 50 years. Vacation to survive. What's the point of starting a new life if a person does not live to enjoy it? When considering all the evidence that is available so far in this case, which theory do I believe is the most probable? As rare as it is statistically, I believe that Nancy was kidnapped. Theory number one is the most likely explanation. The most confusing element in this case, if this theory is correct, is the motive. If a burglar decided to target Nancy's house, why would he kidnap her? Maybe the perpetrator had no intent of conducting a burglary. Kidnapping Nancy was always the objective. Even so, motive is still a problem. There was no reason to take Nancy under...
I do not believe it was burglary. You could see how filled the backpack is. If you're going to burglarize someone, steal their goods, their iPads, their jewelry, everything expensive, you're going to show up with a empty backpack.
Any common criminal scenario. One possibility is that the perpetrator murdered Nancy during a botched burglary. After the homicide, he became worried there was evidence on her body that would lead the police to identify him. For this reason, he removed her.
I don't think it was a botched burglary. He could have committed homicide, but no botched burglary.
Her body from the house and disposed of it somewhere in the desert. He used a motor vehicle, so Nancy's body could be several miles away. No matter what the motive is in this case, the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie is...
Anyway, that's what Dr. Grande had to say about it. Here's my final current opinion on it. And again, complete opinion. This is me just looking at what Kash Patel put out, the facts we know, the blood spatter that Brian Eaton got, the fact that, nothing was really stolen. Now, there was no car. There's been no word of a vehicle, which is the weirdest thing to me. How did this guy fucking get here if there's no vehicle? We've had if you look at the Brian Kohberger case, right? How did they catch Brian Kohberger? There was no Nest camera. Yeah, they had some DNA, but they didn't have a match. It was the white Elantra. How did they catch Michael McKee in the Tepe murders? The vehicle. He switched license plates. He had a sticker on the passenger back door. They tracked it. They found him. They found the weapons. They matched it with the ballistics, and they got him. Where's the news of any vehicle here? Let's say this guy walked up on foot, right? Let's say, so here's what I'm thinking right now. Maybe a fetish situation. Someone who was unaware that Nancy Guthrie had a famous daughter. Someone who just wanted to find pleasure. Maybe their backpack contained ropes, bondage items, things along those lines. Did you walk there? Are you a neighbor? Are you part of the community? There has to be, if this Nest camera, they found this. Other people, I think this is a pretty, rich neighbor. It's not rich, but, it's not poor. It's big plots. It's well-known people coming in and out. Lauren, Matthias knew of the neighborhood. A lot of people know of this neighborhood in Tucson, Arizona. There's no Ring camera. I know they're talking about a Circle K near her daughter, Annie Guntrie's house. They're searching Annie Guntrie's residence. I mean, this doesn't look like Annie Guntrie's husband, Tommaso, whatever the fuck. Doesn't look like him. Those eyebrows are not Tommaso's eyebrows. Rule them out. We saw the picture of the blood from Brian Eaton with the plants right here. Clearly, he went in here and they left here. I think he knocked on the door. That's what I believe. The way he went up to knock before seeing the Ring camera, I think he knocked, rang the doorbell, one of the two, and something went down. If he shot her, obviously he has a weapon right here. If he shot her, There would be pools of blood. There was little droplets, here and there. There would be a pool of blood in the house. There would be a pool of blood on the outside. The FBI should be well aware at this point of any blood. Like there was a little couple droplets Brian Eaton saw. I don't know what happened on the inside. There's no word of homicide. We know she's dead. The family's obviously not aware. They were talking about a ransom note for a fucking week and a half. Obviously, there's no massive pool of blood or blood splatter on the ceiling where shotgun blast, pistol blast. So basically what I'm trying to surmise here, I think this is a male. I think they showed up with intentions of assaulting this woman. Maybe has a fetish, an older woman fetish, similar to the handyman I showed you. It's rare. It's weird. I don't know what kind of, pedophilia that it would be called. Maybe ask, Lauren Matthias' husband. I think he went for pleasure purposes. I don't think he wanted to kill anybody, even though he had a weapon. Maybe it was, there's no talks of a van, a bus, a mini. How do you get an 84-year-old woman? I have an 80-year-old grandmother who can barely walk. Lifting her up would be a bitch. A bitch. And this doesn't look like, The Rock. This isn't, Triple H, Batista. We're not talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's got, normal arm, normal leg, whatever. Could even be a chick. Maybe what happened is there was an assault going wrong. Maybe he tied her up. Maybe he punched her in the face. Maybe he did something like that, made her bleed out her nose, and she started convulsing. She started having a heart attack. Her heart was racing from the adrenaline. This is all skepticism, all just a theory. Maybe that's something that happened. Maybe this is someone from her local community that had no clue. It was Savannah Guntrie's mom. Who's Savannah? I didn't even know who Savannah Guntrie was. It's not like this is Serena Williams' mom, Jennifer Lopez's mom, Jennifer Aniston, a well-known celebrity. Savannah Guntrie is on the Today Show with Michael Strahan. I don't even watch the shit. It's not like CNN, Fox, Blue, Green, Republican. No, it's just the Today Show. It's very uncontroversial. It's very, bland. It just shows you news, be happy, we're drinking coffee. I think this is someone who had no idea that it was a famous person's mother. Maybe someone from her church, someone from the grocery store, a clerk, a neighbor, potentially. And they had some sort of fantasy with their backpack, full of weird items. Because if they were just going into murder, you go in and shoot. What's the point of the backpack? The only point of the backpack would be cleaning supplies. Obviously, didn't scope out the residence. Had no clue the Ring camera was there. Was about to ring the doorbell. Was about to ring the fucking doorbell. Look, or knock. Look, they're not going for it. Look, they're not even looking at the Ring camera. He's looking straight ahead. If this is me and I know there's a Ring camera, I'm putting my head down and putting a sock on it before I even bring my eyes up. Looking at it. Now he's looking at the doorbell. Now he's seeing it. Oh, moves the hand. Whoops. Oh, didn't realize this was here. Didn't realize fucking this was here. Let me look and make sure. I think it's a local person. Someone locally who had weird motives, selfish motives, maybe bondage items, straps, handcuffs, blankets, whatever the fuck. Maybe something went wrong. She started hyperventilating. She started having a heart attack. Maybe he punched her in the face and panicked. Panicked? Because he brought her out the same fucking door that had the Ring camera. The blood droplets. It wasn't gunshot wound. Looked like a nosebleed, a cut to the neck, something like that. My question right now is, where is the vehicle? How did he get this 84-year-old woman off the property, in the street, in a vehicle, and nowhere to be found? There's no neighbors. Nancy Guntrie was the only one with a Nest camera. There's not. I guess they're long driveways. Maybe the neighbors have them, but it doesn't actually show the street. Potentially, the desert. There's a lot of room out there, ton of space. The houses are far apart. It's not like the land is very sought after. Could be one of those issues. I think this is a kind of a random person from a grocery store, a church, a neighbor who had some weird fetish ideas, and something went wrong. Something went wrong. That's what I believe. We'll see. We'll see, but it's a sad story either way. I feel so bad for Savannah, for her brother, her sister's husband, Tommaso. Clearly not the guy. I think it was a random event. Somebody with just weird intentions, man. Just a weirdo. A fucking weirdo. Some of these criminal events, these cases, there's no like crazy motive. Oh, well, she did this, so it was retribution, or they were cheating on the husband. So obviously, some of this shit, there is no explanation. Unfortunately, that could be the case. I don't know. That's just my analysis. We'll see what else comes out. Could be completely, utterly wrong. Could be the brother, or the brother-in-law. Could be the sister. Could be a female. A lot of people are speculating this is a female. I mean, if you look at the eyebrows, fucking looks like it, don't it? Fucking looks like it. So, anyway, Octagon Jordan. I like true crime. I wanted to release this video. Psychology bachelors. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a forensic psychologist. I do not have a master's. This is just my opinion on what I'm watching. Thought I'd bring it to you guys. MMA videos dropping soon. Cheers. Hopefully this case gets solved and we can figure out this mystery. Thank you.